and it leaves like a lamb.
Yes.
That's right.
That none of these old things really hold true anymore in the age of climate warming.
That's
We can't count on any of it.
things.
Well, we can
I
count on the
never,
we can count on the moon so far. We
That's
count on the moon.
Definitely count on the moon. Definitely count on the moon.
Johan is glowing this morning.
Oh,
Good morning, Johan.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. So this is a question for today for uh, for thinking about what is spiritual. What does spiritual mean to you? And let me read to you um, where all across the world in many different cultures, there are many different names for the wonder and energy of life. So that could be named spiritual. So is it right to call these moments of connection spiritual? Um, this is when you feel and you see the good in life, they open their hearts. They show us there's more to life than material success, status, money, and power. They connect us to the wonder and energy of life. Some people experience during religious worship or music. Others experience out in nature or in different circumstances we explored above. Atheists, agnostics, secularists, and humanists also have precisely the same experiences. However, some people are suspicious of religious language and beliefs. So, how would you name or how would you define or qualify spiritual? How's that for the question? For thinking.
well,
Go ahead,
my
Judy.
my first my first quick thought, very quick thought, is laughter is very
Laughter.
spiritual.
That is very spiritual. I mean, talk about, you know, opening up your hearts with joy. And actually,
Joy.
it's interesting that the Chinese uh, perspective, the heart is associated with joy. So connecting our hearts fully open, that is a spiritual connection or a spiritual experience. And also there is, I know like Teacher Lee teaches, laughter as part of his Qigong movements, laughter yoga. So
Mhm.
talk about connecting to an experience which connects us to much more about life. Great response, Judy.
Thank you.
Anybody else have a, immediate response or a thought? What is spiritual, or what does it mean to you?
All the faces of love and all the ways that we embrace ourselves, each other, and world. That's nature.
Uh-huh.
All the faces of love, really.
All the faces of love.
Yeah, for me,
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful.
and how that's expressed.
And how it's expressed, exactly. Talk about the chi connection, with
Mm.
other people. Yeah, that is a very wonderful, you know, profound experience, just connecting with people and how they express themselves. Thank you. Somebody else want to go? What experience that you know, all of a sudden have this profound feeling of, connecting to the energy of life or the wonder of life? And would you call that spiritual, or is that a spiritual experience? Or how would you rename spiritual? I'm throwing a lot of different thoughts here. How about you, Miss Linda? Welcome. Happy Wednesday. And you're all in white.
I know I'm all light. I have another interview this afternoon.
Ah,
For me, spiritual means prayer
Prayer.
and praying and praying. And also, it's funny when you ask that question because when people describe me, they describe me as spiritual.
Aha.
I'm very upbeat. I'm very positive. Um, I jump up and down in church when we sing songs, and that's how I'm known for. And I just really get into things. So I guess, and then so spiritual would be energy. Would be so. I think that would be another way too that I would describe it. Positive energy.
Positive energy. I mean, that's lovely. I mean, people are connecting to your enthusiasm of life. So that's why they call you spiritual because you're lighting something within them, about, you know, ah, you
Yes.
know, life is much more than just, and singing, of course, is a wonderful connection with people too.
Mhm. Mhm.
Thank you. That's a good
You're welcome.
response.
Thank
That's a wonderful
you.
response.
There you have to raise your arm.
Be in the Statue of Liberty.
She's been waving since you asked the question.
oh, really? Oh, wow.
We can't
I
see. People are
do.
frozen, so you have to just kind of speak in. We can't tell.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Oh,
Hey,
Well, in that case, may I?
Please.
of course.
Yeah.
So I looked up the word spiritual
Mm.
relating to as an adjective, relating to or affecting the human spirit or soul as opposed to material or physical things. And then the second thing is relating to religion or religious belief. And as a noun, a religious song or a kind of associated with Black Christians of the southern US and thought to derive from a combination of European hymns and African music elements by Black slaves.
Hmm.
I see spirituality like as the singular, the spirituality to me, my own, as that place that happens, that thing that occurs when I'm kind of on the same page as someone else
Hmm.
in my thought process, in my, to Barbara, my love process, in a teaching process. Tomorrow starts a holiday called Purim. And on Purim, we read something called the Megillah of Esther, the Book of Esther. And Queen Esther basically saved the Jewish people from annihilation at the hands of someone named Haman.
Hmm.
And so it's kind of like a holiday where people dress up and as the Book of Esther is read and the name of Haman comes up, we have noisemakers to drown out his name.
Mm.
And spiritually, everyone is on the same page. At that each time, we're all waiting to hear that name to drown it out because it was someone who wanted to rob people of their religious spirituality. So
Hmm.
spirituality obviously has many different slices. And then there's always the personal aspect that no one else can really feel because it is personal. That's a big question, RD. And that was an understatement.
We like to pose big questions.
great.
But thank you for reading that, definition. It's always good to read the definitions that put in the dictionary or whatever source, just to see what their perspective of what spiritual is. So thank you for sharing that.
Well, I'm wondering what the TUAL ending means versus the word spirit.
Mm.
if there's a certain whatever attached to that kind of ending.
Right. Sometimes on the dictionary they list, the origin, whether it's Greek or it's Latin, and that kind of, right.
Right.
So that might be interesting to take a look at another time. But
Mhm.
thank you. Miss
I'd
Adrian.
like to go next.
Who's that?
Lana.
Oh, Lana.
Lana,
Lana.
Lana.
I'd like to say that it's acceptance for me, because I know a lot of people from a lot of different religious beliefs. And there are times when a particular faith says, I only want to be with another particular faith. And my kids have lost friends over that, maybe, and even a boyfriend. So I teach my kids that just accept what other people believe, and I think it's okay. And it feels good to know that people have different perspectives, and politically, religiously, spiritually. And so I'm going to say acceptance.
Oh,
That's it.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
that's
Thank
a
you.
Yes.
wonderful response. Thank you, Lana. I'd always love to hear all these different perspectives, responses.
I'm going to say something more about that, if that's okay. And that is, my father was an agnostic. He didn't believe in religion.
Okay.
And, but every time we had in Massachusetts, religious people came to our door periodically. And he would always invite them into the living room, and they would talk for hours and hours. I mean, he was always wanting to know about religion. And in his later years, I noticed he was reading the Bible. I'm just going to say that. So I grew up, I was very religious when I grew up, probably as a rebel. I went to temple and studied. I grew up in a non-religious household.
Thank
But
you.
They did garden a lot.
Gardening.
Definitely a lot of gardening.
Talk about, connecting to nature. That's also a wonderful, profound
Yeah.
experience, being with Mother Nature, literally having your hands in the dirt.
Yeah, I define it, if I may.
Please, Annabeth.
My first thought, and maybe my last thought, is not that it's religion. Because people can be religious and not spiritual. It's not my first thought. However, what first came to me is being in the moment. I know that in my life, when I've really been 100% engaged in something, like when I started in the jewelry business, I did bench work and I did 22 karat granulation work like the Egyptians and the Etruscans and all of this. And you had to be focused, but I loved it so much. I'd start at 9 in the morning and all of a sudden it was 6 o'clock in the evening. I was completely engulfed in it. And that was, to me, it was a spiritual connection. And if I'm listening to someone and I'm 100% with that person, there's nothing else. I'm not there. The world is not there. The computer's not there. It's just this person. It's the words of this person and the expression. And I would call that spiritual, because it is, to me, it's a spiritual of the spirit, maybe, Sue?
Yes.
UAL, of the spirit. When you are connecting with the spirit of someone or something. I mean, inanimate objects can have a spirituality about them. So that was my thought.
Yes, literally being in the zone. I mean, you are so much in that
Being in the
place
zone, right?
that there is no time, there is no space. So
That's right.
you are literally completely right. embraced or engulfed in that particular experience, whatever that might be. Yes. Thank you. That's a wonderful,
Okay.
perspective of looking at it.
Well, Anne Beth, you went first, but I was going to say precisely the same thing. Is when you're doing whatever you are doing or being with whomever you are and just absorbed, where you think of nothing else, you feel nothing else, you are just there. And it can be anything. It can be a furtive moment or it can last a whole day.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't, I don't think there needs to be a time frame. It can be all of a sudden you're distracted by a beautiful bird or the song of a bird, and that's a spiritual moment if we're there in all that moment. So I'm
Right.
on the same page as you and Beth.
Ah,
We often are.
When I started doing a stained glass, I realized for once, I thought, oh, I'm not thinking.
Mm.
And I thought that was a revelation, because of course you have to be concentrated, but it was a revelation. And when you are concentrated and you're entirely in the moment, for me that's spiritual.
Yes. Actually, just the other day, I was watering our plants, and I was literally in the moment, so to speak, when I saw two buds coming from the plant. So from the cactus, you see a little bit of a pink flower. I said, oh my gosh. And then from an orchid, which I thought was dead, all of a sudden you see a green little leaf coming from the center of the orchid. And that really transported me. And I was like engulfed, making sure that the water got drained properly, the plants got, a lot of fresh water onto it, and and lovingly putting it into the pots back onto the place onto the shelves. So to me, I mean, exactly what Leticia and Beth, talked about, that was to me a very spiritual, just being engulfed literally in that present moment. And also it's the wonder of nature, wonder of nature.
Well, it's a communication between you and nature,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
Who doesn't talk to their plants?
They talk back. They know.
Jochen.
Johan.
Oh,
Hi.
I had to mute because I have a new neighbor and there's some construction sound sometimes.
Okay.
So everything you said is I go with you. Spiritual is a matter of the soul. You say that. It's the opposite of science. You can't measure spirituality. It's miraculous.
Yes.
It's for me the main word which came to me was soul. So my soul is undescribable for nobody, not even for me, and it's miraculous. And this is all the part I think you cannot describe with science. You can't measure, and yeah, that's what I think. And I wanted to also say that following religious rules does not mean you are spiritual. You can be very spiritual and agnostic, and sometimes it goes together. That's a good thing. Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't. Right.
Sometimes it doesn't.
Yes, I like that. The separation of science from spirit, literally. Thank you. And Miss Nancy.
Well,
Hi, Nancy.
hi.
Hi.
Following Jochen's train of thought, the Tao that can be named is not the Tao.
That's right.
So, going back to Judy's comment, my father was an agnostic from Massachusetts that farmed. And my mother's family was very Catholic, very religious. She had a lot of friends that were priests and nuns. And on my father's deathbed, there was a priest that used to come to talk to my mother, and my father would be in the room. And on my father's deathbed, the priest said to him, Bill, are you ready to accept the Virgin Mary and Jesus Christ as your savior? So my father said to him, your question to me should be, are they willing to accept me? So,
That's a
so,
good one.
so to me, it's that realm that's out there that as Jochen said, it's not science, it's not a particular place. It can't be explained. It's different for everybody.
Yes.
It can't be mapped. You can't take an MRI and find. If you start to
Rose.
put too many names on it, you kind of lose it.
Right.
It just is, just is.
Mm. Oh, I love your stories, Nancy. I just love it. Thank you for sharing that. And Miss Adria, how would you describe spiritual?
I think I would describe it the way Leticia and several people, Sue, Barbara, all kind of said about the present moment, being in the present moment. Though when you first said that, what came to mind was wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water.
Oh,
Makes me cry.
that's wonderful.
That's so sweet. Thank you.
That's wonderful.
And talk about water. You know, water is all of these emotions, something that, you know, each one of us is so personal. It's indescribable. And just from that song, you know, we all have our different, you know, reaction to it. And I think it's thank you, Adria. That was beautiful.
Mhm.
And Miss Rita, how would you describe spiritual or
Hi, everybody. Everybody had such a great view of it. I share all of your views. For me, it's in nature, being in nature, and the sounds of nature, the silence of nature, and when I do a zazen, when I'm sitting in my Buddhist meditation and just quiet, undisturbed, then you can I can let spirit come to me.
Nice.
Yes, just welcome the spirit to come, you know, whatever that really feels for you. Thank you. And Miss Heather Lynn.
Hi, Heather.
Hi.
Hi.
I really, really enjoyed this, and I enjoyed hearing everyone's answers. And I think it's all of that and all of everyone's answers. The first thing that came to me is some kind of connecting to something more, or connecting to the invisible, or connecting to the spirit, or connecting to other people's spirits. But I never really thought about it. And Linda, you touched upon something, because my mom is very much into labels, and like wanted me to be like a lawyer or a doctor or whatever. And when people ask her what her daughters do, she always says, "Oh, and Heather's spiritual." And I never really thought about it or thought what that even means until this conversation. So it's interesting just to even think, what does she even mean by that? So I'm going to ask her.
I mean, it sounds like she
Yeah.
thinks very highly of you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
as you would expect, but still, I think that thing that you can't really put a name to,
Right.
so we call it spirituality. It's just like this thing that occurs. I think that's awesome, actually.
Thank you.
It is. It is. This morning I was listening to Thich Nhat Hanh, just ringing the bell. Actually, this big, giant bell just sitting, you know, on a pedestal. But the way he holds, you know, the mallet, and the way he rings it. Talk about a transcendental or a spiritual connection. Talk about
Yes.
there's no, you know, being here. I mean, everybody's present. No judgment. There's no labels. There's nothing. You just listen to the sound just radiate, you know, before the beginning of the chanting. And so to me, that is also another experience, and talk about sound or music, the song that Adria does or Johan singing in the cathedral, it's just so embracing that we takes our breath away, literally takes our breath away. So, yes.
Wow. Yes.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed the big question of the day. I'm enjoying just finding out these big questions. So I think any other comments, and we'll just go into our meditation. How about that? Actually, the sun, I don't know if you can see it, just pouring into our living room here, which I feel just so, talk about being spiritual, just connecting to Mother Nature. So I'm going to mute everybody and just put your feet flat on the floor. And just feel the chi of spring. Talk about, this wonderful spring chi energy, little green leaves, blooms on the flowers, or just listening to the music. And just sit comfortably in our chairs and just breathe and relax. And let's begin our time together with the ringing of the bells. And just breathing in and breathing out. And my arms are now outstretched, open like the wings of the butterfly, just welcoming the chi into our beautiful bells family. And let's imagine this wonderful light, warmth, and love coming from the universe, gently connecting along the central channel of our bodies, connecting into our hearts, the dantian, going to the base of our chair. Heaven, humanity, and earth. And let's breathe in and breathe out. And just relax. Relax our entire being. And find this beautiful place outside, whether it could be by the water or by the beach or just sitting in the mountains under the beautiful canopy of trees, the blue skies. Maybe you can feel the warmth of the sun against your face. And just breathe in and breathe out. And just relax our heads and our necks. Relax your shoulders. And just release. Relax your arms, your elbows, your wrists, your hands. Even relax your fingers and just be. Gently bring our attention to our hearts filled with gratitude, filled with purple healing chi energy of health. gently bring our attention to the lower dantian, the elixir fields, or the golden stove, and just relax. Relax your lower dantian. Relax our hips and our thighs. Relax our knees and our legs. Just breathing in and breathing out. Have a gentle inner smile to all the cells of our body and just relax. Relax our ankles and our feet. Even relax our toes. Just holding hands with Mother Earth, feeling her solidity. We're feeling grounded and connecting to each other, connecting to ourselves, connecting to the present moment. And let's just take this time and breathe and relax and listen to the silence. The world is so peaceful, calm, filled with love, filled with peace and order, a simplicity, just being here together. And I can feel the warmth of the sun. Or maybe you can imagine the little green shoots of flowers and trees just coming forth slowly, easily. Or maybe you can feel the full moon gently coming. And as we're sitting here, maybe your breathing may have stopped. And if so, We have merged into the zone. So just breathing in and breathing out. Purple chi energy. Bring our attention to our hearts. Our hearts just sitting on a beautiful lotus flower, just floating on cool, calm waters, the waters of life. I can see the mountains in the distance, the turtle or the tortoise mountains giving us support, the dragon and tiger hills on each side, and we're all gathered here together in the center, the Ming Tao, the bright hall, just welcoming this positive love, serenity, resilience, and trust. Trust that all will be well. And just breathing in and breathing out, and just relax. And let's just gently, gently bring our palms together in a prayer position. And just welcome. Let's allow this palm to gently move up, slowly rising like the steeple of the cathedral or the church. And when you reach to the top, open your palms and just welcome this purple chi energy of hope and of harmony and certainty. Close our palms together and gently, gently, gently bring it in front of our hearts. And just release your palms and place it over your hearts, or place it over your heart in your dantian, or give yourself a gentle hug. And just feel this time of just being. And I'm going to close with the ringing of the bells. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. The 6 true words: welcoming, kindness and compassion, serenity, smiles, and joy. And gently, gently take your palms, just kind of rub them together. Gently wake up our chi cells. Maybe rub your palms. And I remember what Nancy was saying, reduce any tension, stress, really rub in between your thumb and your fingers. Or do a little tap dance with your toes and your feet with Mother Earth. And just do a little tap, tap, tap along your face, Gently along your eyes. Tap, tap, tap along your head. Rub your ears. Feel the warmth of your hands. Gently tap along your meridians. Top part of your arm, the bottom part of your arm. Gently tap, 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 tap. Ah. So, happy Wednesday, everybody. If you want to unmute, I can unmute. And it's the 24th of February. Happy Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Hope you enjoy.
Happy Wednesday.
It was
Wednesday.
beautiful to be with all
Happy
of you
Wednesday.
today. And I love
Great
that
day.
cardinal that Asia put on. I just love it.
Have a great day.
Have a
You
beautiful
too.
day,
You
everybody.
do the same.
Enjoy your
Bye-bye,
day.
everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Everybody.
Lots of love.
Lots of love. Yes. Love and light to all.
Love and light. Magic and miracle.
Bye.
Yes.
Have a beautiful day.
You
You
too.
too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.